Well, good morning, everybody. Got the pupper at my side here. It's the morning of the Return of the Robin hockey tournament. We're headed down there to play some hockey with some guys. And so I thought I'd take you along on the trip. And yeah, we got a lot to do before we get going. So I'm fueling up here, and one of the things I do is I always check the oil when I'm fueling up, and I take a picture of the hub odometer. Show you how I do that. So I just clean that off, take a quick picture of it, and then I will enter that number into a spreadsheet I have, along with the gallons put in the tank, and that will roughly calculate my miles per gallon. Come around here to the back. Now before startup, I always check the oil as well, but my driveway is at a slant, so I don't get a very good idea. So this has been sitting here for a minute or two. Let's see what we're at. We're just above low, which is fine, because anything more than that and this thing just starts spitting out oil. And it's only been sitting here for a couple minutes. If I let this sit here for a half hour, it'll be somewhere in between low and full, which I'm told is okay. Let's see where we're at on our fuel. We're not dumping, that's good. $25 gallons so far at 9. Oh, there we go. Oh geez, we got problems here. Let's cap that quick. Well, put oh boy. Put a half gallon. Let's we'll deduct a little bit off that number there. That's what I get for trying to video and fuel. Woo! All right. I think we're good there. And the receipt. So my receipt, yeah, it says how many gallons, all that stuff. So I can use that to calculate what my miles per gallon is looking like. And there's a beast. Oh, and I was getting her water. I am overfilling everything today. So let's, ooh, that water looks a little cloudy. Probably just from my well water. A little bit of iron in there. I need to figure out how to run that through my soft water system. I don't want to put a water softener on here. You thirsty though, girl? You ready to go? Let's let you get some water first, okay? All right, and then we're gonna get on the road. I have no idea how well this is gonna work or how well you can hear me. While I'm driving to Rochester for the Return of the Robin hockey tournament, I thought, well, maybe I could share some thoughts about some things here or there. One of which is tire pressure. I am experimenting with well over 100 pounds in my tires, and the good thing is I can definitely tell I'm putting way less load on the engine and everything, because normally, you can't see this here, but normally my boost gauge is to keep up at, I mean, I'm doing 70 miles an hour right now. And usually to do that, I have to be running at about 12 to 15 pounds of boost. Right now, I am doing it at 10. And that's usually my goal. What I usually find is at about 10 PSI, I feel like I'm pretty fuel efficient. Now I know these Detroit diesel engines, they like a specific RPM range, and I think on my bus that's about 62 to 65 miles an hour. I think that puts me at about 1800 RPM there, somewhere in there, and that's where these are most efficient. I might be up to 1900, almost 2000 RPM probably at 70. I will take the fuel efficiency. Now the only downside here is, and that's why I brought up the, I wasn't exactly sure how this is going to work, is because I think this camera is going to look like it's just shaking all over the place. Because it is a little bumpier, especially when you're on your fronts higher. They're about 110. Whoa. In a little dip in the road. That's the other thing I don't like is I like to try and get rid of all those rattles and everything because it is loud sometimes. I don't like it. But that's the way it goes when we're still building our conversion. We don't have all the little felt tips on the covered doors. Oh. It's bumpy. You know, maybe I should bring it down here a little bit. I don't know. Oh, we're still on a 4-lane road. And I'm getting past at 70. But yeah, I feel like I'm just barely working it. My temp is 175, 180, which is right where it should be. I have the shutters activated, so as the engine needs to, it'll close off the radiators to keep it at 180, 175. That's where these engines are most efficient. Ooh, we got a little bit of a turn here. And I don't know why. Sometimes I like to look at the trees to see if there's any wind. Sometimes that can affect the noise level. Well, anyway, I like to look at the leaves to see if there's any wind or anything, but in March in Minnesota, there's no leaves. We might not get real leaves until May, late April. Oh, but it's good. It's in the 50s. It feels good. It feels good to be out driving in the bus right now. Love it. Maybe we'll check in when we get to the arena. And maybe I'll bring the GoPro out onto the ice and record some of the footage from the actual game. It's been a while since I've done that. I actually have a second channel that I do a lot of goalie stuff because I'm a hockey goalie. Maybe I'll put a little bit of that footage in here. See my other life. Alright, we'll check in later. Well, we made it. There's the pooch, let her out. Now we like to, what do we like to do? We like to check a couple other things. Now we're not super level, but I don't really have leveling jacks or anything. I do have leveling boards, and I might back up onto them a little bit, but I use a trusty little thermal gun here. And I like to just check the tires and the hubs, give me a little early warning as to I don't know, if something's going wrong. So I'm going to take care of that right now. Alright, so let's take a look at the tire. 83, that's pretty good. Hub 62, that's perfect. Hey, Coco! I don't know what she sees. Hey, you just wait, girl. She wants to go explore. 88, that's good there. And this hub always seems to get, it's warm. Ooh. But it's carrying, it's 88. That's carrying a majority of the load. 64, that means probably wasn't carrying a lot of load, which is good. It shouldn't. I mean a little bit, but oh look. One. It's a little warmer, but I'm kind of wondering, I think I've been traveling where that would be visible to the sun a lot more. So that makes sense why they're both warmer on this side. Yeah, everything's warmer on this side. I'd like to take a look, shoot the engine in here real quick. Make sure nothing's... we're leaking a little oil down there like we always do. Shooting the tube here, or 173, that's good. That's on the outside. You know, my exhaust is, that's like 180, that's not bad. Usually here will tell me exactly. Yeah, 181, that's good. That's about right where it should have been. Ooh, this is new. Yeah, this, I've got a seal that's failing up there. So one thing I found back here is I got oil coming out of here, and I've got new oil here, and it's getting sprayed there everywhere. I'm guessing there's a seal up here in my miter box here that's failing. Well, it's always something, right? Nice game. Oh, you played a hell of a game, man. Nice game. Oh, you had my number. So, it's early in the morning, Saturday here, and something kind of weird happened last night. I woke up to a low voltage alarm, and I did leave the hot water heater on, and when that runs, it wants to pull, like, you know, 2,500 watts, but only for usually about 10 minutes at a time, so it's usually okay. But I couldn't figure out what was going on, and I went down to the bay, and turns out the breaker blew on the DC side, and I'm not quite sure why. That's a 250 amp breaker, and that popped. What I did find was on one of the multi-pluses on the bus bar, when I was reconfiguring everything, I forgot to tighten down one of them, and so one of the multi-plus inverters kept seeing low voltage while the other one was fine. I checked the voltage of all the batteries. They were good. We were at open circuit, was still 12.6. So I've just put everything back on. Maybe you can hear. I'm going to show you the Victron monitor, see what's going on right now. So right now we're pulling 260 watts because I turned the furnace back on, and the refrigerator is catching up on its cooling needs. The hot water heater also wants to run, but I'm not going to do all those things at the same time. Once the fridge settles down, and once our solar maybe kicks in a little bit better, we'll turn on the hot water heater. I showered last night, so I don't need to shower for a while. We can, once we're making good solar, we can do that. As far as my voltage is concerned, I'm still learning exactly how these AGM batteries work and how they perform. The data sheet says that my voltage there can get to something like 21 volts. Now that's like draining them dead, and I would never plan to do that. What I'm trying to see is what's the capacity at, because these are takeout batteries. I'm not really quite sure, so I'm just kind of guessing a little bit, or not guessing, I just used the spec sheet as if they were new. So that's, I said 600 amp hours, and I think so far we're not too far off. Pulling 14 amps, we do get voltage sag. I mean, look what happens if I turn on the hot water heater here. If we do that, and we crank up, then we get all the way down to, it really starts to sag. I'd rather solar take over a little bit more of that load. And I have a feeling the water is still plenty warm, so it won't take a whole lot longer. Anyway, I know like I said, the voltage when it drops, that's just part of the sag. I mean, lithium batteries would not sag like that. I don't know if that's a big deal. if the voltage sags like that. So being that we just got this battery pack, I don't want to thrash them too much. I'd like to condition them and generally be as good as I can to them. So I'm not going to try and abuse them too much just quite yet, although I have read some things that you really do need to use them, and even that when you can actually increase the capacity when you deep discharge them, you know, just once. It kind of it just exercises the chemistry, I guess. I don't know. For right now, I don't necessarily know the condition of them. I know if you do that continually and regularly, you can absolutely destroy them, so we don't want to do that. And when the sun really starts hitting the solar, we will make our hot water, and I think I'm going to go maybe back to bed a little bit. It's like 7 o'clock still. So, although I did get to bed at a decent time last night, so I don't know. Maybe I'll get up and just make coffee and do some work or something. Wait. So this ended up being the culprit of the low voltage issue. This 20 amp or 250 amp breaker is not a 250 amp breaker. It's maybe 75 to 80 continuous. So that kept blowing, but it would kind of soft blow. So for the time being, I've jumpered it. It's not safe. I don't recommend doing that, but that's what I had to do to just keep that from blowing. And I think that may have been causing me a lot of problems for a long time that I just couldn't figure out sometimes. So check this out. We're getting 600 watts, and well, it's tough to see out here maybe, but it is cloudy. And there's a little blue sky up there, but it is very cloudy out there right now. And we are getting 600 watts of our 1900 total available. So getting a third on a cloudy day, that's not bad. I'll take it. I'm gonna fire up the bus here and we're gonna head out. Thought maybe we'd do an update on how she starts. It's I think it's about 40 degrees out right now. The engine's still pretty cold. She doesn't like to start when it's this cold, but she will. So this is as cold as a start as we're going to get here in March. So it's probably going to smoke first couple times. So I kind of have a pattern. What I do is I let it start, or I turn it over until it starts to fire, and I'll let it do that for a little bit, and then I find if I turn it off, I'm not sure exactly what happens, but then more cylinders will light, and I keep doing that until they all light, and that seems to be the fastest way, because I don't want diesel washing down the walls. I want to eliminate that as much as possible. So here we go. Actually, that was the best cold start we've had in, I would say, a year. Wow. Believe it or not, that was really good. That sounded like that was running on at least 4 or 5 cylinders there. It was still missing a couple. You can tell because this is really wobbly. When this is, and there was a ton of smoke. Because actually, this engine does not smoke that much, even when it's cold, when all cylinders are firing. So look for this to stop flapping around and the smoke to lessen away, and you'll hear it. It'll do this like or clack 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 or whatever. I don't know. It does something. I can tell. So this time it's probably going to fire up on all of them. Here we go. All right, not quite, not quite. So, let's do it one more time. Who is this? Who's driving? Coco, are you driving? She just likes to make sure that I don't leave her. Are you driving? Where are we going? Going to PetSmart? Going to the dog park? I don't have any thumbs, Dad. The other thing I like to do, I'll usually go around all the tires and check the tire pressure, but especially I have a set of duals in the back that are constantly going down just like 1 or 2 psi a day. So I had them up to about 110, 120 when I left. I'm gonna go see what they're at right now. Now you can see when we were out there, we were right at about 100 pounds, which is perfect. I wouldn't mind being more like 120 because we do have a lot of weight back there with all those batteries and water. We can get home just fine. You know, I just don't want it down to like 60, which is what it was one time, and we got literally like 4 miles to the gallon. It was horrible, and I risked having a blowout, which I'm really glad I didn't. We do really need a TPMS. I know that. If somebody wants to donate one, that'd be great. But for right now, I just use this and I go around and make sure that everything's good. So far, Coco's not giving up the pilot seat, so Coco, come on, let's go. Daddy's got to drive now. Come on. All right, so now for serious, we are headed out. We are aired up. Everything's good. Let's go. I lied. I've got one more thing to share. So this shows, now that the bus is running, we are getting almost 4,000 watts from the bus alternator. It's capable of 6,000, so we are well within the range. So, and the reason why is because I'm running my hot water heater, because I'm gonna make up all the hot water so that when I'm done with my next game, I can take a nice hot shower. No worries. I would say by the time we get there, that'll be good to go. But really, these alternators can do that without breaking a sweat. It's one of the nice things about these buses with the 50DN alternator. Well, we won our last game, 7-3. I gave up a last-minute goal, or a last-second goal, actually. Maybe I'll show it, but I just want to thank Jeff Bridges again for being a guest referee. We were beating him pretty good, so figured you got to give him something to be happy about, you know? Everybody's got to have something to feel good about at the end of the day. So anyway, we're walking over to take a look at some of these buses. Looks like we have, what is that? I think that's an MC7 or 8 there. I'm not up on all of mine. It doesn't have a tag, so, and I'm not sure exactly what that is. I saw those at Hibbing. What do we got? Oh, I think this is a 5. I like the way that looks. Well, that's got a tag. I love the way these older classic ones just look. They look so sharp. And these are newer ones. I don't know if these are for sale or what. There's a car. There's the Rochester City lines. I got a couple more interesting ones back here we'll take a look at. What do you think, Coco? You like our bus best, huh? Do you want some water? Nope. All right. I don't think that's a garage you can put a bus in. Now these look pretty sharp too. These, they have this sky view. It reminds me of those trains Amtrak had. It's pretty sharp. Looks like some of these have been donors for various things, maybe saved. I don't think, maybe what's in there has been growing. It's pretty cool. Or last year, actually, I drove through here because I didn't know where I was going. That's kind of how I knew some of this was here. They let me drive through the lot. Bussesny.com. Looks like that used to be one of theirs. They peeled off some of the paint. Looks like they have a lot of shells here. They're just using for parts. And that one looks pretty new. I wonder what happened to it. Air cleaner in there. All kinds of cool stuff. I got some cool engines and stuff. Bet they have those ready just to pop in something, although that's pretty old. If I ever need something, I might have to give them a call. Got quite the boneyard here. They've got a whole bunch over there too. So that's it. We're gonna head out. I got one more game to play for my normal Sunday night league up in Minneapolis, and that starts at 7:10, and it's a little after 4 right now. So I've got some miles to get behind me. So maybe I'll do some more driving footage on the way up there. All right, see you guys later. All right, we are on our way. We out of here. Oh, she's rolling good. She is rolling good. Coco, what? No. Oh, jeez. See, Coco sees a dog, and she's like, "Why is that dog there?" Coco just can't. She can't handle the idea that there's another dog. It's fine, Coco. That dog is a loud thing. There's oh jeez, there's two dogs. There's two dogs outside. Coco, no, Coco, we're out of here. We are out. Coco, no, go lay down. Coco, no. We're gonna be pulling in at about 6:07, just in time to